I wonder when you see me dressed like this, I wonder what it is you think. You think woman, minister, clergy, Halloween costume. From when I was a little girl, I was sent to church and Sunday school. I was that one little kid who would have sat completely wide-eyed and fascinated as I was taught stories such as David and Goliath, Daniel in the lion's den, Moses in the Red Sea. And what I used to do was every single Sunday, I would run home from my Sunday school class, go upstairs into my bedroom, get all my teddy bears and my Cindy dolls, because we weren't polite enough to have Barbie, and I would have placed them around my bedroom and around my radiator, and I would begin to preach to them what it was I was being taught. Now, we can look at her, age 4 or 5, and we could say, maybe someday she'll be a teacher, maybe someday she'll be a politician, maybe someday she'll be a lawyer. Something was happening in that young girl's life. By the time I was in my teens, I was already being told that women are not permitted to speak. You cannot teach, you cannot lead, you cannot pastor, you cannot be in church leadership because you are a woman. Women are to be silent. I look back in those years and it's as if they handed me this complimentary box and said, here you go, here's your faith box, welcome to the faith, here's all the things you can think, here's all the things you can't think, don't dare think outside this box. When I got into my 20s, whatever was happening in that little girl began to surface. We call it in church the call. And at this stage, I was heavily involved in volunteering in my local church, and other people were coming to me and saying to me, is there any chance that you have been called to be a church minister? Is there any chance, Karen, you're called to pastor? And I did not know where to go with that. I was told to be silent. I grew up and attended a church that doesn't ordain women. And I remember the senior minister at the time, even though that particular church and denomination didn't ordain women, said to me, Karen, I really think you need to go and do your theological training. Just start the steps. Start the steps. And so I got accepted by Queen's to do my Bachelor's of Divinity. And I had to do it through a local Bible college in Belfast, and I went along, and I will never forget the interview. The guy that was interviewing me said, Karen, why do you want to study theology? And I remember taking this big deep breath, and I looked him in the eye and I said, because I think I might be called to be a woman minister. And he said to me, okay, you can come here and you can study, but you will never get a job in Northern Ireland. And so anyway, I remember walking back to the car, and this is the point where I would love to say to you that I prayed and meditated and had great faith. Everything's going to be cool. I ended up having the biggest rant of my life. I was like, really, God? So let's get this straight. You've called me into a place where I've been told to be silent and I can't go. I belong to a church and a denomination that doesn't ordain women. And I've just come from an interview being told that I will never get a job. I mean, if you don't show up here, this is not going to look pretty good. And as I started to study theology, I realized pretty quickly that my theology and reality didn't match up. I remember the box that they gave me, the list of do's and don'ts. Actually, I didn't agree with that anymore. I started to think and study and learn for myself, and I had lots of good questions. Questions are good. And I even started to look at the place that I grew up in that was my spiritual home, and you know what? I didn't feel like I was beginning to fit anymore. And so I entered what I call my wilderness years. A season where everything went into reverse. A season where I felt that my faith was being deconstructed. A season where I was called a heretic. A season where I was told that I was just seeking power and I didn't really understand that women are meant to be silent. A season where the very place that I grew up in was no longer cheering me on, but they were telling me, tread carefully, Karen. A season where I honestly felt a loneliness that I have never encountered before. It was as if I was detoxing from church and from faith. And I don't know about you. I don't know if you ever reach your enough is enough moment. And I got a few of my friends together. It was affecting every bit of my life. And those friends are here tonight. And I got them together. And I said, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. How can I keep walking when I can't see a way forward? Where do I go from here? I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I feel alone, I'm not going to get a job, there is nowhere to go. And I remember one of the friends, her name is Kath, everybody needs a Kath in their lives. And she said, okay, it's midnight, there's nowhere we're going to get you wine. So we started to have coffee in a McDonald's late at night, as you do. It's the greatest office. And I cried and ranted and swore, moaned and gave off. And I will never forget at the end, she said, are you finished? And she said, okay, Karen, if you choose to walk away from this, I have your back, no matter what. I have your back. And then she said, but for what it's worth, you need to pull up your big girl pants. I have no idea where you find your Bridget Jones, but you get those babies and you pull them up and you do what you need to do. And I know you can't see in front of you, and hey, you may not get a job, but you have got to keep putting one foot in front of each other. You've got to keep paving the way. She saved my life that night. And you know, I came out of those years and I realized I wasn't meant to pastor inside the church. I was called to pastor outside the church. I came out of those years and realized, you know what, maybe I wasn't meant to fit, because I've been called to set up places and spaces for people who feel they don't fit in church for all sorts of reasons, for all the spiritual refugees, because I get what that's like not to fit. I came out of that season realizing I am called to be a woman minister. And I am here, and I will do this with whoever will come with me. Now, I still get asked, am I the pastor's wife? I still get messages saying, you know, you're pretty good, you're very good at communication, just a pity you're not a man. And I even got a message a few months ago from a male Christian leader who said this, Karen, do not spread your women in church leadership message here on the island of Ireland. Do not spread your message here on the island of Ireland about women in church leadership. We don't want to hear it. And here I am in TED. So this is what we're going to do, okay? Here's the idea. We're going to keep spreading the message that women can be in church leadership. Gender equality on the island of Ireland is important. She is in medicine, she is in politics, she is in every field, and she should be in church leadership as well. Whether you have faith or not, where you and I connect is that we want to see gender equality right across this island. The church will never reach her full potential when you continue to exclude women from leadership roles. We are needed, we have a voice, we are chaplains, we are pastors, we are ministers, we are here to stay. And so, let's be bold and let's keep paving the way for gender equality in all arenas, including the church. Thank you.